いけたかな。サシコ。じゃねえや。Alright, thank you so much for coming. This is Sashiko live streaming on Wednesday night. Sorry to be late. My daughter didn't sleep. I mean, she's sleeping, but it took quite a long time to get it done. It's the usual thing. It's the usual Sashiko Stitching live. I will answer the questions. I may talk about something I have been thinking. So today might not be the quiet live streaming. I might talk a lot. I can talk and make a Sashiko Stitching in Japanese without any problems, but I need probably more focus, more concentration when I speak and make Sashiko Stitching together, so I might just stop sometimes and then talk about Sashiko and then come back to stitching. Regardless, this is the Sashiko live stitching. So if you are expecting something very quiet, I hope you're gonna be okay with it today. Sashiko is getting so popular. Should I show my face online? Probably better to do that. Just a second. When I talk, I think I should probably show my face too, so you can give me comments more, right? Little tiny window I'll make. I even have to take a shower yet. Just a second. Hello. My daughter was playing my hair. Alright. So it's just me stitching, so you will not see anything but me watching the denim. Sashiko is getting very popular, seems like. It's really insane. I don't know if it's a good word to use it for this type of thing, but it's really insane. I receive so many emails every day. If I offer the workshop in Japan, when is my next workshop outside of the New York? I appreciate everything. I'm sorry, like I scratch because of the mosquito bite. I appreciate everything. I really do. But at the same time, I just realized that there's a lot of misunderstanding about Sashiko. And I do respect those misunderstanding too, because that's the kind of product of trying to understand what Sashiko is, and then since there's not many articles, not many informations available online, or even like offline, there's no books, there's not many books about it, so it is kind of difficult to get the whole picture. So I will make another video, another story video, after what is the difference between Sashiko and Boro. About 2 messages I would like to pass it down throughout sharing what Sashiko is. Probably you are watching this live streaming on my channel because you would like to learn what Sashiko is. More precisely, more accurately, you would like to learn the technique, how to make Sashiko stitching beautiful, how to make it faster, blah 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 blah. And I do teach that. I do teach those online or offline workshops, and you can get those informations on this channel too. But that's not everything I want to share. Wait. Yeah. Sorry, if I was muted, that's kind of sad. I'm talking this much, and then if it's mute, that's kind of sad. So what I want to share is not only the technique, but also the culture behind it. The technique itself is probably 50% that I would like to share. Probably not even 50%, but there's like a culture or the mindset or how the Japanese were thinking or taking the accepting things back in like before, even before the World War II or Industrial Revolution, how the Japanese were living throughout sharing those technique, not throughout throughout sharing those histories. I believe that I can contribute to this society a bit. That's the kind of whole goal of my let's share Sashika here and there. Does it make sense? If I'm talking too much, please mute this live streaming. Then it's gonna be the same as usual. So there are two things. Let me just check the memo. If there's memo. Okay. Although I wrote down something to talk about, it doesn't make any sense. Just a second. It's very difficult to talk in English while I make Sashiko stitching. It's not that difficult when I talk in Japanese. So if you watch this channel several times, you probably got the message already that there is no such a thing as right and wrong, Sashiko. Did you get that? I do believe that there is no such a thing as right Sashiko and wrong Sashiko. There are beautiful Sashikos and not so much, not that attractive Sashiko. But there is no such a thing as right and wrong. For that, I would like to kind of make the time of doing Sashiko the judgmental free. I don't want to just, well, this society, this world, we keep judging each other, right? Including myself. Like, you're doing right, you're doing wrong, it's not that great, I'm not as good as he is, I'm not good as he is, she is, blah, blah, blah. So when I am doing Sashiko, and at least when I'm teaching Sashiko, and I just want to avoid those judgmental thoughts. The people who practice Sashiko, I believe they didn't have that much judgmental comment because that's what they had. They had to accept who they were, what they did. It was probably much easy to accept because um, there was no comparison group. You don't have to compare to somebody else. Probably she or he could compare how much his brother or cousin makes, but that's pretty much the comparison group. It's not like the internet you can compare to somebody else. So many people ask me like, am I doing right or am I doing wrong? I will give them advice. I will give them advice that this might be a better way to do that, or this might be an appropriate way to do it. But I want to understand that there's no such a thing as right or wrong, Sashiko. So it's all about preference, not the judgmental thing. And the second thing is the more like imagination. This world is very much focused on the speed. faster the better, right? Like the fast fashion, fast food. The speed is probably the most important thing in this society right now. Without the speed, you cannot do anything. Make the service. Oops. Ah. Oopsie, oopsie. ちょっと待って。なんでそんなこと Sorry about that. What was I talking about? What was I talking about? Imagination, speed. So the faster, the better it is, isn't it? In this world. But interestingly, some people focus on those completely opposite side of the speed. Hand stitching. There's a sewing machine. Even there's a sewing machine for Sashiko Sashiko stitching, so called. But some people choose to do hand stitching. Why? I think there's a time, like by doing Sashiko, we can have a time to imagine something else or think of something else. Think of somebody else or think of some um, unnecessary thing. It might be an unnecessary thing, but it is something we tend to forget. Tend to forget to appreciate, probably. That's what I want to say. Tend to forget to appreciate. So by doing Sashiko, we have, let's say, at least 30 minutes of 1 hour. Even if I do the live streaming, I have 1 hour of just moving my needle and thinking about something else. It is impossible to not to think anything, unless you're very good at meditation, stuff like that. Sashiko has like some benefit similar to this meditation, but it is not easy to not to think about things. So when you do Sashiko, you will think something, but when you think something, I hope it's something you care, something you like to appreciate, and that lead to the imagination. There are a lot of sad news. If sad news happen because of the lack of information, not information, imagination. And I think if the Sashiko become like a big trend, that rate might go down because we, by thinking, by imagining things, we do not act recklessly. So that's my two things I would like to share throughout Sashiko. And I'm sorry, I'm just mumbling right now in the live streaming. I'm not supposed to increase the volume of my voice because my family is sleeping. So I will make a blog or another video about this topic, so wait for that. Meanwhile, I mean, since I've said it enough, I will go to the quiet time again. I will be very much quiet, as always. Enjoy Sashiko. Why on the back side? Because I can control those clips on the backside. Traditionally, well, there's a blog article about it, so if you could read it on the upcyclestitches.com, it might be helpful. But traditionally, the sashiko was developed in a very poor area, so they didn't have enough materials to stitch and then use the lining fabric. So they wanted to make it both side beautiful as the finished side. So by doing so, you have to avoid making knot, and that's kind of a technique they developed. That's why we mainly stitch from the backside. Oops. Yes, I do plan. I do. I am still planning to do online workshop. Um, the problem is the I have a form. Did you fill the form, Google form? I asked to fill the form, but none of it matches to the my schedule and the preferred schedule. So I just can't. As of now, I don't have like specific date to have the workshop. So sorry, like it takes probably some times to do that. I will ask if there's anybody who don't mind taking the workshop during the daytime, the weekdays. That is the best time I can offer the workshop. I'm not available over the weekend and not at night. So that makes it really difficult. So if I have like a certain number of people who like to take online workshop at night, I can start negotiating to my family and my my current schedule. But as of now, I don't have that enough preference for that too. So it may take another, it may take some times. Sorry about that. My next workshop in New York City is November. November 17th and 18th, I guess. When is that? It's, yep, November 17th and 18th. I do have the workshop in New York. Or this coming weekend. Or this coming weekend. 2 days from now? Yeah, like this Saturday, I do have a basic one. I mean, the basic and core. Pretty much only one workshop I offer right now. Everything else is kind of supplemental. But this basic and core tells you pretty much everything you have to know to enjoy Sashiko stitching. Yes, I am going to cut the long thread. Unless it's the bridge or jump, I am gonna cut it later on. If I'm jumping without kasane, I will not cut it. When I'm filling the patterns, I kind of skip the place like this. So in order to make the patterns on the front side, this is the side I'm looking at is the back side. So in order to make patterns on the finished side, there's a place you don't stitch. If I am planning to use both sides as the finished side, I complete every stitching one by one. But because I am not showing the other side of this denim, because this is the denim, so I don't plan to show the back side of the stitch and the back side of inside of the fabric. So I sometimes skip the part I do not have to stitch, and that's what I meant by bridge or jump. It's about 10 o'clock, so I will go offline at 10 o'clock. I have a workshop this weekend. Actually, in Brooklyn, I have a workshop. I do teach the. It's actually a day-long workshop. In the morning, I will teach how to do the Sashiko stitching with the plain fabric. Afternoon, I will apply that technique to the denim, so the participant can all practice how to do Sashiko stitching as I am doing right now. I will explain everything, including how to make patterns, not make, draw patterns like that. So I kind of have to prepare that, and I will go offline within probably 10 minutes or so. And this is again like I don't know why I do the live streaming in English at night, but I'm a very morning person. So this time I just get so sleepy that I don't even speak up well. So I will cut this tail. This is the tail I don't need, so I will cut it off. When am I gonna do the Boro and Sashiko? Mm, I don't do that. I probably will not do Boro and Sashiko. I mean, it's pretty much independent study. There's not much things I can teach. Like probably it's better to join and take a look at what the artisans do to make Boro, but I don't think I can make the workshop, like structured workshop to make Boro. So as of now, I don't plan to do that. I mean, it's gonna be like a private workshop, I guess. I mean, I keep explaining the difference between Boro and Sashiko, and Boro is the ultimate result of repetition of Sashiko stitching. So once the person learned how to do Sashiko, it can be anything can be Boro. So I might not offer the Boro workshop. I mean, I'm happy to stitch Boro together, but it's not gonna be like a workshop. Oh, I was gonna actually talk about it. Yeah, in my opinion, is Boro and Wabi Sabi similar? Answer: no. Um, no, it's not similar at all. Well, I mean, there is similarity, but it comes from completely different background. So Wabi Sabi appreciate the flow of nature, right? Like if it's broken, if it gets rusty, enjoy it, appreciate the transition of those being rusted. I mean, not rusted. Like I'm not a professional about it, but even I don't like talking about wabi sabi in a one word. Wabi and sabi has different meaning, so it is kind of difficult to mention that. But Boru is the result of survival. They have to mend it. That's why the valuable Boru is so powerful because that's the humans' pride to survive. And in those extreme situations, they try to be beautiful. That is why Boro is so strong and valuable, I believe. Wabi sabi is another beautiful Japanese concept, but it is based on the chanoyu or tea ceremony, in my understanding. And chanoyu itself is actually like a hobby for aristocratic people. I do not believe those people needed to mend fabric. They should have enough fabric to wear, so it is easy to mix it up, but I think it's safe to say that I don't. I see the similarity a lot, but I do not put those two words in the same category. I guess the similarity is more like a Japanese aminism, which I wrote the article about it too. But in Japanese, we used to believe that we do still believe that everything has the gods in it, God, spirit in it. So even this needle or this thimble has something special in it. That is why we do not like throw away things that easy. We try to appreciate what we have because there's a God in it, right? So that's kind of the concept of wabi sabi too, I guess. And the concept of borrow is there too. Like even small swatch has the God in it, so on top of the purpose of survival, they believed in those spirit. See, it is so interesting to listen to me, right? Thank you. That's my opinion, though. It's not right or wrong, but it's kind of interesting that I might be the first one who does sashiko and speak Japanese, like native Japanese who happen. Sorry, I might be the very first native Japanese who happen to do sashiko and speak Japanese. So, well, I was born in a sashiko family, so I should talk. Well, I would like to talk. I was talking. I was very much talking in this first 20 minutes, but I got a little tired. And I cannot speak up because my family is sleeping. And and I do talk. That's why I have like a I have a story video I talk about what is the difference between Sashiko and Boro and stuff like that. Please watch it. But so I do respect those people who try to translate it, interpret the Sashiko. It's really good, but at the same time, it is nice. I like to kind of share what I know. So, for example, this is a very really most people that do sashiko from UK. I know a lot of friends in Australia and many friends in the US right now. So this is like a rough example, okay? Um, I think I'm writing this as the article right now, like a blog post. But when I do the workshop, I provide the needle and thimble, everything for the first workshop, right? And then let's say I do have the borrow workshop the second time, like I decided to offer that. I always ask student to bring the needle and thimble that I provided, that I had provided in the first workshop. Many people bring without a question asked, like they will bring even probably without me saying that. But some people say like, well, why don't you provide us again? Or some organizers say, like, it is the matter of few dollars. Why don't you just provide it instead of asking them to bring it? That is very true. That is very true that it is more convenient that if we provide the needle and thimble instead of asking the participant to bring it. In the US or Western culture, the convenience comes first, right? I mean, not a convenience, but customer satisfaction, customer easiness comes first. So I do understand that. However, it is indirectly or directly encouraging people to waste or throw away the materials. Like, it is okay to lose the thimble, it is okay to lose the needle, which I hope you don't do that. But if we say, like, well, you don't have to bring the things we provided, I feel like I am encouraging them to replace it, although I am teaching not to replace it. So that's kind of like a little cultural difference I am experiencing when I do the workshop in the US. That's why I'm saying, like, I would like to share not only the technique but also the culture. At least for those who come to the workshop and then get something out of me, I like to tell them or share them that technique can be mastered by anybody. But I just want to make sure that why Sashiko is so still there, still here. It's just merely a hand stitching, but it still exists in the Japanese culture. Why? Probably there's a reason behind it. And if it's culture, I understand and I kind of expect that culture form, sorry, culture shift its form. For example, um, sushi in the US or in English has completely different meaning comparing to the Japanese sushi word sushi. Same as futon. Futon in the US is a sofa. In Japan, it doesn't mean that. So in the long run, sashiko might get different meaning, a completely different meaning. If that happens, it's perfectly fine. But at least somebody like me or like some Japanese, native Japanese, should probably keep advocating the origin of what it was. Uh, just to give them a choice. Yeah, but I do not want to. I'm not here to criticize anything. I'm not here to judge somebody. So please do understand that, because judging is actually opposite side of Sashiko. Being okay with who you are, who we are, enjoying days with what we have instead of crying for what we don't have, is the background of Sashiko and the background of the beauty of Sashiko. I'm sorry, the background of beauty of Sashiko. So it is interesting. It is very interesting. Well, I gotta go soon. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much. I'm sorry, probably. Oh, Carlos. Probably know you. Thank you very much for the purchase. I appreciate that. Those support will keep us going. So for the online workshop, I would like to do that as soon as possible, but please bear with me. I'm still trying to find more people. Yes, the thread itself is very different. I mean, it is for Sashiko stitching. We have probably more than 40, close to 50 years of experience as the family. My mother has more than 30 years of experience in that. We make thread specifically for Sashiko purpose, so it is of course different, and that's good. And you going to New York? You coming to New York in November? Are you sure? I feel very like I wanna go to everybody's place and I wanna offer the workshop online, but yeah, the November there are people coming from like Chicago or even like West Coast to New York to take my workshop. I feel very strange. It feels very strange. Ohio, Ohio. See, I should have got into the Ohio State. Ohio State should have accepted me. They did not. They did not. I really like to do online workshop. Can you wait another? So the truth is, I'm pretty busy until this weekend. Like not pretty, very busy until this weekend. So I'll see what I can do over online. Okay. Like as much as I want you to come to New York and see me or meet me in person, I do. I really do want to meet you in person. But traveling is a lot. See, I made a mistake here. At the same time, I'm trying to offer the two kinds of workshop. One, the basic running stitch workshop, and after that, I will offer the hitomezashi workshop, which I don't have the sample right now because I'm going to New York tomorrow. But yeah, I'll message you. I remember your name, and I probably can get your email address without any problem. So I should put write it down too. You work at Abercrombie on denim. Oh, that'd be great. So it's, I don't know which is gonna be cheaper for you, but if you can kind of find a place for me to do the workshop and gather several people, might be cheaper to have me over there. Which which brings up another question when I can do that. But ah, it is, I think it is official, so I can say that. Is that okay to say that? I think it is official. I believe it is official, so I'm gonna say it. But I do actually the workshop. I forgot about it. I actually do the workshop in October with the Eileen Fishers, if you know that brand. So they open a studio with the theme of recycling the fabric with their clothes. I have to study that a little more, and I'm gonna write a blog about it. But they contacted me, and we had been talking about it, and I think we finalized it. So it should be up online somewhere. But so October is also the option. But the problem is I only offer one kind of workshop there, so I will not follow up with the some advanced workshop. So and I kind of guessed that you are interested in denim, which probably lead you to do the mending. Because there's actually a request for that weekend of November to do the kind of mending sort of private workshop after the Sashiko stitching workshop. So you love everything from Japan, okay. So you love me, huh? Just a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. Okay. It was nice talking to you. I'm sorry I have to go. It's 15 minutes past my original time. I will contact you next week for sure about Minori. It's a good stuff. It's a good liquor. I will make sure to contact you next week after the workshop with either online or the New York workshop. Alright, thank you so much for watching it. Thank you everybody else for watching it. Let me finish somewhere. I will see you next week at the same time. Have a good night. Bye bye.